Hello, geometry. Today we are going to review over how to plot points on a coordinate plane. We're going to do it with numbers first, and then we'll do it with variables. And we're going to apply this to our special quadrilaterals that we learned. Okay, so this first sheet here is not on your notes. So if you would just listen while we go through this first part. So again, we're just going to be plotting points. So remember, a point is in the form of xy. The coordinate plane here, you have an x-axis. These are just reminders. And then you also have the y-axis. Okay, that splits our coordinate plane into 4 quadrants. Quadrant 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Okay, so let's just review over plotting points. So the first number is the x value, and that will go along the x-axis here. Okay, so right is positive and left is negative. So if I'm looking at this first point, 0, 3, what that tells me to do is go across 0, so I don't move, and then I go up 3. So that would be S. Okay, and the second one, I have 0, negative 3. So what that means, I start at 0, 0, and I go across 0 and then down 3. And this would be Q. Okay, what I want us to do on this particular shape is I'm going to form a square. So using those first 2 points, I am going to form a square, and I'm going to form it over here on the left. So a square, if you remember, has equal side lengths. So if we count here, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a length of 6. In a square, you need to have a right angle as well. So that means I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, 6 to figure out U. Okay, so in that particular case, the coordinates for U, again, you always start from 0, 0, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to the left. So that's a negative 6. And then down 1, 2, 3. So that's a negative 3. Again, for right now, you're just listening to find A. So A is going to have to be up in here for a square. So from S, I'm going to go left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to figure out A. And then to do the coordinates of A, I always start from 0, 0. And obviously I went left 6 and then up 3. So I went left 6 and then up 3. So if you connect all of that, that is a square. So these are all right angles. And the sides are all congruent. Okay, again, this is reviewing over how to plot these points. Okay, over here we are going to start, we're going to do a kite. So we start with K at 0, 0. So remember 0, 0 is just where these axes intersect. So 0, 0 is your starting point for every coordinate point. I is at 4, 2. So take a second, think about which direction you're going for plotting 4, 2. You're going to go right 1, 2, 3, 4, and then up 2. So that's I. Okay, T. Again, if we want it to be a kite, so here's the first side of the kite. So the T is going to be over here somewhere. And remember that directly under this vertex is going to be the other diagonal. But these are going to be equidistant. So if I went 4, I'm going to have to go 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4 to get T. Okay, So pause for a second, figure out what coordinates of t are. Okay, so you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I went across to the right. 8 is positive 8. And then what is the y value? Well, I'm not going up or down at all, so that is going to be a y value of 0. Again, these are just reminders how to plot points. Okay, so here's two sides of my kite. And then the E point should be down here somewhere. And you actually have some options. The only option that's not going to work is, so I went up 2 for the I. I cannot just go down 2. So this is not an option for E, but anything else down here is. So maybe I'll make E here. Okay, and then pause for a second, figure out the coordinates of E. Okay, so from 0, 0 again, I go across 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's a positive 4 on the X. And then down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I went positive 4 on the X, and then down 6, then negative 6 for the Y. Okay, and then when I connect those, there is my kite. Okay, so that's your review over plotting points with just numbers. Remember, the first number is left or right. Positive is right, negative is left. The second number, y, is up or down. And positive is up, negative is down. All right, so let's try some of these with variables. Example number 1. So we have a rectangle. So it's given to you as a rectangle with a base of b. So in other words, this length here is b. I would highly recommend that you just label that in the picture. So we have a length of b and then a height of h. So this height is h. And we're going to figure out all of these points based on those two letters. So we're no longer using numbers, we're using letters to represent our points. Okay, so the easiest one is this 0, 0. So O is at 0, 0. So that is also called the origin, if you remember that from middle school. Okay, so let's start with W here. So if I want to get to point W, I'm going to go across B and up 0. So across B and up 0. So I'm going positive B and then going up 0. So W would be at the point B, 0. Okay, to get T here, I always start at the origin. I'm going to go across B and then up H to get to T. So across positive B and then up is positive H. So point T is at BH. Okay, now based on what we marked here and knowing that's a rectangle, I want you to pause and try and figure out S. Okay, so welcome back. You should go across. You're not going to cross at all, right, on the X. So you don't go across at all. That's going to be a 0 for the X. And then you're going to go up. Well, opposite sides are congruent, so this is also H. So I'm going to go across 0 and then positive H. So this would be point H, or point S. So there is my first example. Second example, we have a square. So as we know, a square has 4 congruent sides. And the height of the square is x. So what that means is all of the sides have a length of x. Okay, so I want you to pause for a second and try to figure out all 4 points. Okay, so welcome back here. So this O right here is just standing for origin in this picture. The point is actually J. So J is at 0, 0. Okay, and then if I was going to go to I, so I go across 0 and then up X, so a length of X. Okay, if I was going to go to H, you always start at 0, 0. So I go across to the left X and then up X. So H, you go left X and then up X. You could even label it that way in the picture. Left X and then up X. Okay, and then K, from the origin, you simply go left X and then up 0. So that's going to be 0. Okay, so there's your square. On example 3, so you're given this information that Tx is equal to uv. So Tx here is equal to uv. So you want to mark that in the picture. Okay, and then here we have a horizontal line. And I wish they would have told you this is also a horizontal line, but it looks like it is. So these are parallel. So given those markings, this is an isosceles trapezoid. Okay, so this one's much more difficult, but here's the origin. So we know that's going to be 0, 0. Notice that you are going across here S. So this is a value of S. And then not going up or down, that's a 0. Okay, going the left. So we're going, again, this is going to be a length of S. But you're going left, so that's why it's negative S. And then up or down 0. Okay, to get V, so these are a little more difficult without the grid on there. You go across X and then down M. So I'm going across X and then straight down M. So to figure out X, remember an isosceles trapezoid is symmetric. So this coordinate going across X and down M should be equivalent on the left side. So I'm still going to go across X and down M. Now you just have to be careful with your signs. So if I go across X and down M, I'm going left X and then down M. So the coordinate for this guy right here should be negative X, negative M. But that is a much more difficult problem. Okay, well you have, for your assignment, you have to choose 7 problems out of the 16 that are labeled here. They are leveled. So these are the easiest versions with the ground level. They start getting harder with some clouds. And then if you want a challenge, there are some alien questions on the back, including ones that don't even have a graph. So you want to make your own graph here and then try to figure out what shape it is based on the coordinates. Okay, so pick your challenge, but you do need to complete 7 to earn credit. All right, good job. See you next time.